Do you want to tilt the enemies? Simply use your smoke on the ledge on Abyss, stand in it all the way against the ledge, and just wait patiently till this happens. 2 easy peasy kills because the enemies were jumping against you. Well played, my friend, and this is just one of the many tricks I'm gonna show in this video. Because it's that time again, another episode of the Valorant tips and tricks sent by you series. In this series I show Valorant tips and tricks that you guys send to me. So if you got cool things and want to be featured in the next video, don't forget to submit your tricks in the Lowlander Discord server, link in the description. Also, if you learn anything new in this video, consider subscribing to the channel. And now sit back, relax, and let's start with the cool vice mechanic. When you place down your vice wall, the wall will always stop when the ground stops. It doesn't extend like a sage wall, but it stops when there's no ground underneath it. However, this mechanic can be broken, and here's how. If you place your wall somewhere and the wall can pathfind to another spot of the same height, but there's a gap between it, then there's a chance that your wall will extend to the other side of the platform. What? This sounds very complicated, Mr. Lowlander. Yeah, sorry for my explanation, but just take a look at the background. Because these two boxes are of the same height and the wall is long enough to go from one box to the other box, the wall will extend fully. It doesn't stop on the box itself. There are a lot of spots on a lot of maps where this is the case, for example also over here on Icebox, but I couldn't find a real use case yet. Maybe you can find one during your games, a cool one way or something. Also, I think it's a glitch, so it might get fixed soon, but it's a cool thing to know. Something that's definitely a glitch is this wall over here. I have no idea how Purple got into this situation.
Oh no. Oh.
Let's move on with another clip about the vice wall. Sadly, this clip doesn't have sound, but take a look at it. In this clip, it seems like the vice wall is breaking the ISO shield. This is something that seems impossible to me because the wall doesn't do any damage, so I hopped into a custom game to do some tests, and I'll give you the results in a minute. But first, I want to talk about a very important Valorant tip that makes you get the edge over your enemies during your competitive games. What, Mr. Lowlander? That sounds really unfair. I know, but with the sponsor of this video, Valorant Tracker, this is completely possible. And here's how. When you download this app and hop into a competitive game, you get a lot of live match data. You can, for example, see the ranks of your teammates, but also your enemies, their kill death ratio, how they played in the last few games. All very useful information, so you know for what players you have to be careful of. And this, the live match data, is just one part of the app. There's so much more you can do with Valorant Tracker. For example, seeing all the stats of your account. You can find so many things, for example, how many aces you got, your accuracy, weapon stats, map stats, agent stats, and way more. Apparently, my win rate with Yoru is only 40%. Now I understand why I don't play that agent anymore, whoopsie. Anyway, Valorant Tracker has way more to offer than I just talked about. Things like a detailed match history, guides, an in-game overlay. So what I would say, just try it out yourself with the link in the description. The best part is that it's completely free, so try it out today, my friends. Now let's find out if the vice wall can break the Yoru shield. Here's the answer. As we all know, the vice wall does not do any damage. However, if your ISO shield is activated and you walk through the wall, then suddenly the vice wall will destroy your shield. This was actually very surprising to me. I have no idea why this is a mechanic. Other non-damage abilities like a breach stun or breach ultimate don't destroy the ISO shield, so this is a very unique mechanic. Let's move on now with the sneaky way to counter the vice ultimate. It's very simple. When the enemy vice is using her ultimate and you jump out of it, a thing you can do is letting the enemy think that they hit you. Do this by shooting a few times with the classic. This might make the enemy overconfident so they peek you, but then you switch to your gun and easy kill for you. A bit like Saber did in this round. In last video I showed that you could boost your teammates up onto this box on Sunset. A very nice boost for the Sage players because they can place their wall like this and shoot the enemies on A short. However, there's actually an extension of this trick. Instead of placing your wall normally, you could also try to go for an extended wall of the box. Just jump off it and place it underneath you like this, and when you do this you have a perfect view to A long. There's no way that the enemies will expect it, so a pretty nice way to get some sneaky kills. Make sure that someone else is holding A short though. And we're not done here, because there's also a very strong Cypher cam that you can use. If you boost the Cypher on this box, you can go to the bottom left corner, jump and place your cam on the building over there. At first glance you might think, okay, this is a pretty strong cam. You can look at A long, at side, at A entrance, but now the real strength. You can also look into tiles with this cam. And of course it's pretty good hidden, so I would recommend to use it in your games. Now take a look at this clip.
Back like I never left!
Jeez Ben, that's a very risky play, but actually might be not that bad. When you notice that an enemy is running towards you with their knife in their hand, maybe you don't need to go around the corner. You can just activate your ult immediately and catch the enemies while they still are running. Well played. And while we're on bind, the newer players might not notice, but on B side you have a thick wall and a thin wall. The thick wall over here you can't shoot through, but the wall behind this glass is as thin as paper, so you can wallbang through it easy peasy. Well played, it's Geniux. Also, I've seen the comments. It's Geniux is getting a bit famous because of all the submissions. I really appreciate you helping with the videos, It's Geniux. Thank you. And surprise, surprise, in this video he also submitted multiple things. For example, this trick, where you get close to the enemies while they are planting the spike. A thing you can do is defuse it as soon as they planted it. If you do this, the enemies might not hear the defuse sound.
Spike planted.
And that's how you can defuse the spike easy peasy.
Oh my god. Amazing.
Would I recommend to do this one in a 1v1 situation? Definitely not. But if you play 1 versus 3 for example, and you don't think you can kill all the enemies, this might be a sneaky trick you can use.
It's actually happening. No way.
What is happening?
No way.
Let's move on now with the nice vice mechanic. When you throw your vines on top of things and activate them, they will always extend downwards. What does this mean? Well, my friends, if possible, I would always recommend to throw your vines high and not place them on the ground. The reason, when they are on a high spot, they have the same effect, only then it's way harder for the enemies to destroy them. Just make sure that the range is roughly the same. If you throw your vines on this box for example, you get some coverage, but on the ground you get way more coverage. So think about that when you want to use this trick. Did you know that when your teammate Sage revives you, you can crouch to do your T-pose a little bit lower? Just take a look at the background. I keep crouching and uncrouching, and you actually see that there's a really small difference. However, in game I don't think that it will get you an advantage because the difference is so small, but it's a cool thing to know. Something that definitely gives you an advantage though is this KO one-way flash. Take a look and after I will explain how you do it.
Holy shit. Nice. I got a kill with the flash. Nice.
Pretty nice flash, right? And it's very simple to do it. All you gotta do is stand against this box over here and match the diamond of your left mouse click button with that part of the metal in the sky. When you now throw your flash, it will land over here. And like you see, it doesn't flash you, but it does flash the enemies. Very nice. This, by the way, is not the only flash it's meme submitted. The other one is way simpler. All you gotta do is stand in this corner on ascent and throw your flash against the wall in main. You can't peek yourself after this flash, but let your teammates peek after it. And because the flash flashes behind them, he can get some nice kills. Just look at this clip.
3, 2, 1, pop. Oh my god. Oh my. Oh my.
Also, it's meme, you won this video's battle pass, so congrats my friend. Did you know that on Lotus, if you stand over here, you can actually spot the heads of the enemies if they are standing on the platform on the defender spawn? Koicat used it in game, well played.
Neutralized.
Let's move on and talk about Vice again. Here's an important tip about the Vice wall. When you play this agent, you have to remember that your wall is very strong in combination with your teammates' abilities. What do I mean? Well, on Valorant there are a lot of spots that you can block off, so the enemies won't be able to escape. On those spots, if you combine your wall with a molly or a race grenade or something, the enemies will have no chance to survive. It's pretty strong. Some examples are Under Heaven on Haven, Under Heaven on Ascent if you combine it with the Breach Aftershock or something, this spot on Sunset on the backside of Split, and there are way more. I would say use your creativity and make those combo kills. And since we're talking about the Vice wall, if you want to activate the wall but you don't want to walk through it, you could always decide to go for a strafe peek like this. This way the wall will activate, but you won't be solo on site, so it's a pretty useful mechanic to know. Now it's time to take a small break from the tricks to show you some trick shots. A lot of cool ones in this episode, for example this insane no scope. Then we have these blind headshot kills. More blind kills, this time running gun with the Vandal. How did you do that?
One enemy remaining.
Honestly, this next one, I didn't see 2 people, I only saw 1 in this clip. And we end the trick shot session with one of the nastiest flicks I've ever seen. What? Okay, one more time. Back to the tricks. Here's a Viper trick you can use on any map, but as an example we take mid on Sunset. If you want to use your Viper wall, there are 2 tactics that you can use. The first one is the most well known. You simply use your wall through another wall, for example here on the right, and then you block off middle and the other spots that you want to block off. Makes sense, right? But now comes the second tactic. Instead of using your wall through a wall, you can also stand in the opening like I'm doing over here and then shoot your wall. But what's the difference? Well, my friends, with the second option you actually create a small little gap. This is a sneaky little gap where you can see the enemies through, and if the enemies don't pay attention they might not notice it, and that's how you can get some sneaky kills. Like I said, this tricky you can use on any map, and it's especially strong if you have an operator. Now take a look at this clip and tell me if you notice something. Did you notice that in this round Kaikun placed the Vice wall over here? After that the enemy race activated it, and then the enemy deadlock fell into the abyss. I think this is such a funny way to get a kill, well played my friend. And since we're talking about falling on abyss, this next trick you probably already know, but it's too fun not to show in a video. And same for this clip. This one is also too fun not to show in an episode. What did the enemy Viper do over here? I wish my enemies did this during a game. Here's a cool Vice tricky. On Ascent, you can place your wall like this and then hide somewhere in the lever room. Now when the enemies are activating it, you can use this wall to jump on from the boat and catch the enemies by surprise. Kaikun made some nice kills with this trick, just take a look at it. And since we're here on Ascent, let's talk about this Sage wall again. A lot of people know this wall for an angle to look at the defender spawn. But what I showed in last video is that if you stand all the way on the corner of this box and then use your wall, it will extend a little bit to the back. And this makes it able to look through the window into B main. And now you might think to yourself, MrLowlander, why do you tell me this again? Well, my friends, because this time we can actually see this trick in action because of a submission of the one and only It's Genius. Okay, let's make a small deal now. If you made it all the way to this point of this video and you learned something new, please subscribe to the channel because we're trying to reach more subscribers than Little Love, and with your help we might be able to do it. This is the end of this episode. Big shout out to everyone who submitted in a trick. I hope you learned something and I see you guys in the next one. Peace.